Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. We are on the air. This is Thesis. 3, 2, 1. We are on the air. This is Thesis. Everything is everything. I am your host, Jay Marie. How's it going out there, folks? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for showing up and hanging out with us today. Coming to you live from Zombieland. Yes, sir. Well, I want to thank you guys for checking in on us today, showing up and hanging out with us today. Before I get started, we do have a lot of new listeners out there, so I want to welcome you guys. I want to thank you again for joining us. And as you can probably tell, is that we don't put out content every day or every week, sometimes every other week or so. So we try to concentrate more on quality than quantity. So if you would hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening to us, that'll be great. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button there so you will not miss a thing. All right. Well, let's get started. I've been thinking a lot about what should be our next topic of conversation. And speaking with Sammy the Bull last week kind of helped me get to where I have an idea of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about leadership. It's a quality, it seems like, that I think we're all capable of, but it's probably like a gift that needs to be like unlocked, right? So we're going to examine what leadership is, qualities, different examples of situations where leadership is needed, those type of things. Because of course, in the Western world, we have elections and we have republics, and we vote for our leaders and stuff like that. So we want to look at the meaning of leadership, what it entails, what is expected from it. Look at different stories, different leaders, and kind of examine the whole thing together to see if we could get a better idea of what we should expect from our leaders, but also from ourselves in picking our leaders or who we follow, right? So I will be working off notes today. I've been studying all day. Been getting into Aristotle ethics. I did study for a few hours. Plato's allegory of the cave, and also some of the Hebrew writings in the Genesis stories, just to kind of get my mind flowing in the right direction about this subject, this topic about leadership. So, like, what is leadership? Like, what would be one of the easiest ways to describe what leadership is? So I kind of thought about it, and I was thinking, like, what would be a simple way to kind of give us an idea, a simple idea that we could probably all understand. So I came to where we have something like the craftsman and the apprentice, right? The teacher and the student. But more like in a craft, but generically, the teacher, the student, the craftsman, the apprentice. You're showing the person that's under your authority the skills and the traits needed to become a potter, let's say, or an ironsmith. The artisan, right? The ironsmith, the potter, they've already worked, they've already put years in their experience in learning how to do their trade. They probably were apprentice themselves when they were younger. Sometimes these traits and skills get passed down from father to son to children, right? So the craftsman, if there's a craftsman, now when we're just looking at the craftsman, but that goes across a lot of different levels of understanding. So once the craftsman is there, he's already experienced in whatever it is that he does, as the so So then he gets to a point to where he has to show the next person below him, right? If they're running a business, a shop or whatever, the son, whatever. I'm getting old. I need to teach the next generation these skills, these traits that I picked up along the way that have been passed down before from my parent to me, and then from me to the next child. That's kind of like what leadership is. It's not only showing, you know, how to do it's because when you show somebody how to do something, it's not as simple as just telling them. You're working with them through experience. You're working together through it, showing them, leading them, guiding the way, using as a craftsman the experience that they learned along the way. I've been doing these carvings for 20 years. Those 20 years of experience of failures and of successes, and all the teachings and all these things that gather up over the years, uh, gives that person the ability, maybe the quality of a craftsman. If I just started doing these things, maybe my work may not be as good as the guy who's been doing it for 20 or 30 years, right? So maybe I'm not a master craftsman yet. So leadership is something like that. It's not only teaching and showing a the next person, the people that are under your authority, your students, apprentice, your workers, showing them the proper way, and also being an example at the same time. Like we're gonna work through this together. You're gonna see me work these machines. You're gonna see me cut this wood and carve it. You're gonna see me do these things while you are working along with me. And I, as the craftsman, as the teacher, as the one that is over, not over you, but you are subject to me because I am the teacher or the boss or whatever. I need to be watching. If I have the right character in my leadership, I need to be watching and paying attention to you, the student, to see if you're going to do things right. And when you don't do things right, to make a correction, like, oh wait, this is how it's done. You did it like this, but this is actually the way it should probably be done, or the way it should be done, because of the experience has shown us, no, this is the best way to do this thing. So as the teacher, as the craftsman, as the one above the other, I need to, right? I need to pay attention to their work as they are learning, to see if it's being done in a proper manner. So that metaphor of the craftsman and the apprentice, that kind of shows us what leadership is. And there's plenty of different things that we could look at to kind of give us different examples that show to that will paint a picture for us of this quality of leadership. Like we have the shepherd and his herd, the father and his family, right? The business owner and his company, managers and employees. We got, like in sports, we have the quarterback and the team. In the armed services and the armed forces, we have the generals and their soldiers. Anybody can be put in a leadership position. Hey, I need you to do this thing. Sit here, watch these people. Sit here, watch this machine. Sit here. I need you to do this thing. Now, the ability for somebody to, we can all be taught to run a machine. We can all be taught to oversee this group of people. There's not much to doing it, but to be able to do something like that successfully, to watch over machinery or people or, you know, important functions of a company or this and that takes responsibility and character. So so as, let's say, as a boss hiring somebody for a position that's gonna, you know, not a simple position that's like a lower level rung on the hierarchical triangle pyramid of the business, you know, someone on the bottom. No, someone who's actually in charge of departments or machinery or shipping or something like that, right? You gotta put the right person in that position to be able to you know, to make sure that those things run correctly. They gotta have the right experience. They gotta have, you know, they got to use logic and maybe have some sort of wisdom in the business that you're in or whatever it is that's going on. That person that is put in charge, they need a certain character. Leadership needs a certain character about that person, because we've all seen managers, we've all had managers, we've all had bosses, you know, who maybe somehow ended up in a position or whatever, and for whatever reason they're not as experienced or they're not as wise in the situation, maybe because they're new to the whatever. There's all these situations that we could probably, that we've probably all experienced in our lives, where there's someone in a position of leadership that we say, how did this guy end up here? How is he considered a manager or a leader or whatever, right? Because there's something missing from that person. So we can see those qualities that are missing from a leader. They're you know, they're noticeable really quickly. It's like we're all looking for, it's almost like we're all able to see these good traits, these good values of inside of people. um, these values, these characteristics of people. We can see when they have good characteristics. We can see when they have bad characteristics. This guy's a good leader. Oh, this guy's no good at leadership, right? So the character of of the person. Now, character is, it's not, it's not superficial. It's not something like that you wear like a shirt. You know, your character is is like engraved, ingrained in you, engraved in you. It takes time to build that character, that that what's inside of you, how you act, how you behave. It takes a long time to build that. It's not, it doesn't change quickly like a something superficial, like a shirt, like clothing. So how do you build character? It's deep. It's not surface. It's deep. So it's like you have to make sure, you know, you have good habits, and practicing good like having good habits is good, but just having good habits is not enough. You have to, they have to be repetitious. They have to be at a point to where they're happening all day, where you're good, where you're, you know, where you're trying to do good constantly. The more you, the more you do good, the more repetitious your work is. If it has purpose, the stronger, the better character that you build through hard work. You know, it takes time to build that character, and you got to work hard for it. It's like, it's like all the things that we do. Aristotle says it's in the Ethics. He says all things that we do, whether in art or whatever we do, is like there's always, it's for something good. It it's for something good. Like, so it's for something virtuous. All things that we do, all things that humans do, are for something good, for something proper. And when we think of leadership, we think virtue. We think, because, you know, there's bad leaders, right? We can look throughout history. There's been kings and stuff who slaughter their people or starve their people or hurt their people, and there's been tyrants and all these things. Bad characters. they're leaders. They are leaders because they run this kingdom, or they control this or that. But their character shows in what they do. We have in sports teams, we have the quarterback and the team. For the most part, the quarterback works with the coaches and stuff, but he's like the general on the battlefield. He's calling the shots while he's on the battlefield. The person in that position needs to know a few things, needs to be hardened, needs to be experienced and knowledgeable about the battlefield that they are on. The more prepared that person is in that position, the quarterback, the leader of the team, the better off the team will be. When you see, leadership is also like, you have to prove. It's not like it's not proving. It's like you have to give the people a reason to follow you. They have to trust in you. They have to see that your leadership, they have to trust in you as the leader. I have to trust in the guy that I'm going to follow into battle. If we're at war, if we're playing sports, if we're whatever it is we're doing, we'll go to battle, metaphorically, in sports, in life, in business, all these things. Those who lead us into battle, we have to trust them. We've had great leaders throughout history that fought alongside their men, like George Washington fought along the side, right there with their men in the front lines, even, like not with reckless abandon, but with, he had something inside of him that just led him forward, that said, this is what we need to do, and this is what we're going to do. And he didn't fear, he didn't cower, he rode in front of the men, telling them to charge forward and to, they had to see that they could trust their general in this battle. He was asking for them to risk their lives for these things that they were undertaking. People have to know that I trust this man with his leadership. I trust that he is going to guide us properly to where we need to go. There's a bond that has to be made there by what the soldier witnesses. If I see my general being cowardice, if I see my general being drunkard, if I see my general being things that I don't even uphold, things that I hold in high esteem, if I see my general doing things that I don't, other than those things that we hold in high esteem, then why would I trust them? Why would I follow them into battle? Right? Why would I put my life in the hands of someone like that? So a leader has to show like a little more. There's tough men out there in the battlefield and at work or whatever, but we're talking battlefield. There's great men, tough men, strong men, brave men, smart men. But they need to see that this general, they need to see that this man that's leading us can basically, he has to show that he can take whatever comes at him. They had plenty of losses during the Revolutionary War, but they had some wins that were crucial, and those wins would not have happened with a weak general, with a general that would question his own thinking or interpretation of what he needs to do on the battlefield. It would have never happened. They would have never crossed into Trenton. It needs something special. It takes something special to be able to pull something off like that, for instance. But that's just in battle. What about in our everyday lives, at home, at work, or amongst our friends or in our neighborhoods? There's leadership things that we can do. There's things that we probably should be doing um, if we don't already. But because uh, humans we're like it's not like we're not like quite like cattle, but we can become like cattle. um we can be maneuvered by people who are smarter than us, who are more encouraging, and they're out of the box, and they attract our attention, and they have all these things that so people can be moved around by celebrities or whatever, smart sounding people, professors and actors and people with microphones. Humanity is like that. We group. We're tribal. We group together. So in those groups, there's always leadership is always going to be needed, always, in society, in humanity, in groups and families and tribes, in nature, right? As that so leadership, there's like certain qualities that that we should look for in in those people who lead us, and those who we choose to follow, because a leader knows where he's going. A leader already has the final destination in place, has already thought it through, has already experienced. The leader says, hey, it's this way. I know that if we go this way, it's going to be safe. I know that if we go this way, things are going to be good because of experience, because of wisdom, knowledge, and these things that have been revealed throughout time or through teachings or whatever. A leader knows where he's going. Teachers, the word teacher, professors, teachers at schools, they are also leaders because they are teaching young minds, they're educating young minds, which has a a destination that's already known. You're by the time we are done here, you're going to know how to add. You're going to do mathematics. You're going to be able to read proficiently. By the time we're done here, you're going to know, certain scientific properties and this and that. So teaching is leading. Educating comes from the Greek word educare, educate, to lead out from, lead out. Educate is leadership. The word educare, to lead out from, there's there's almost like I heard some of the uh some of the historians talk about how that word actually literally came from uh Plato's allegory of the cave, the leading out of the cave, to lead out from, educate. Experience in life is, we all have experience, we all experience things, right? We all go through life and things happen to us. Similar things happen to all of us in different times, in different places. So we all have the similar experiences, but I think there's a difference between having an experience and learning from our experiences, and being able to learn from others. If we sit and watch people, society, you can see patterns of behavior. If you sit long enough and watch long enough, you will see these cycles and patterns of behavior repeating themselves over time. But you won't be able to see them if you're not sitting patiently and watching, looking for those patterns. How do we, when we learn these things and we take them in and we decide that, you know, for instance, that when we decide that we're not going to do crime anymore, right, because it's bad, because it hurts people, there's a willingness there, there's a what is it, there's a willing, yeah, you have to be willing to you know the change that has to occur in something like that, right? You learn from the people who you seen went to prison, and because they're selling drugs or they're shooting each other or killing each other or robbing banks or even financial frauds or whatever, we see people do these things, and and if we're able to learn from what others do, and also from hopefully from what happens to us, then we'll be more equipped to tell others and show others that, hey, this isn't the right road you want to go down. You don't want to go down this road, because I've seen what happens. I know what happens. That road, it's pretty, it's nice. There's a lot of, there's a lot of good things there. There's lights and women and drugs and whatever is going on over there. The easy life, the smooth life. That's smooth, that's easy. That's the wrong road to take. Nothing worth it in this life comes easy. You have to work hard for it. And even like in philosophy, it's like you have to, it doesn't come easy. Enlightenment, you know, wisdom, the seeking of wisdom, it's very hard, very labor intensive, because there's a lot of thinking to do. There's a lot of digging to do. There's a lot of words to dig through, to go through, to kind of mix together and examine. And and it's like we try, like for instance, I as a philosopher, as someone who feels as though a calling that I want to show you is like I can try my best to show you, to teach you, to plant seeds and ideas. That's what we do. I can do my best for that. But in like in philosophy, it's like you have to make that journey yourself. I can tell you the stories and I can share ideas, but the enlightenment, the revelation, those things come once you've had the journey. It at the end of that journey is where those things will come. It's almost like the Buddha. There's a lot of similarities into what the philosophy of the Greeks teach, Aristotle, Socrates. There's a lot of similarities in what the Buddha teaches, and also in what the Christ teaches. So, where do leaders go to? Where should they go to? Where could they go to gain more leadership skills, leadership qualities, to gain more wisdom? Because so humans need, like we talked about earlier, like we're like cattle, we're tribes, and we gather and we need leaders and we need people to help us along, and we have people that move us and abuse and the masses and this and that, right? So the people need administrators, right? That's what leaders are, administrators. Mayors, right? They're administrators. They administrate the laws of the people. Sheriffs, they administrate the justice. They administrate the law. The judges are part of the administration of the law, right? So humans need administrators, leaders, but also that comes with a little uh, law, law, not enforcement, but administration of the law. Like a lawman. In the Old West, we hear about these lawmen, the sheriff, right? We have the Texas Rangers. They were lawmen of the open, of the range. They administrated justice. They were the administrators of the law. They administrated the law, right? So a leader is an administrator. So there's different levels of understanding. So so when you're teaching someone, we don't use violence to administrate to administrate the law, right? Punishment or whatever. We don't use violence. We leave that for final I'm sorry, for last resort. Violence is last resort effort to defend ourselves and this and that, right? So violence is always last resort. So we leave all of that uh administration of the law to the sheriffs, to the police departments, to the lawyers. But humans need administrators, people to guide them and to teach them the law. But what laws? Okay, let's assume cities, none of this stuff exists, right? We're back in time somehow, way before all of this. The people still need leaders. The people still need administrators of the law. What law? Nature's law, the natural law, the tribe's law, the law of the land, the law of, see, there's these things. And how does one administrate if I don't have, I'm not the police, I'm not the judge, I'm not the whatever. The only administration that I can do of the law to the people is talking to them, showing them, teaching them, saying, hey, these things are wrong. I can't do nothing to that person. Hey, if I know people, I work with homeless, so I'm sure some of them steal. And I know a lot of them do drugs and this and that. So it's like, I'm not gonna judge that part about whatever, but I'm gonna tell them when I find out that they broke into the business down the street or when they've been doing too many drugs or whatever. I'm gonna tell them, hey, you need to chill. You need to stop. Don't break into them places. Don't be. You're gonna get hurt. I need to use my words, my voice, my knowledge and the seeking of the wisdom that I have gained or what that's been revealed to me. I have to use that to help others. That's the administrative power that I have, is using my voice and using my actions to help guide people, or that's the only way I can administer the laws of nature. Now if somebody's kicking in the door trying to attack me, then I have the other rights of administration of the law, which means deadly force, because there's laws of nature and we all have that. That administration has been given to us by nature, by the laws, by God. Humans are the administrators of the laws of justice. Discipline is very important in a society, in our own selves, right? The administrator needs to have some sort of discipline, or else it's kind of like if you have dogs you have dogs to guard your sheep, to guard your hen house. If one of those dogs has a character like a wolf, where he'll sneak away and try to eat a chicken, or sneak away and try to eat one of your sheep, the character of that animal, that's not a protector, right? That one needs to be, and then, like, for instance, I'm the farmer, I see this going on, I need to be aware of that things. If I'm awake and I see oh man, this dog already ate a couple of my chickens, he needs to go. So protection of those, protecting those underneath your authority. My animals in my farm, right? My employees in in our company, in the factory, right? The soldiers that are under my authority. If I'm the general, I need to protect them. The farmer needs to protect his animals, his crops. A manager in a business, a owner, also needs to protect his workers. There's a discipline there that is needed. And there's a character also, because leaders, just like the dog that ate the chickens, there's leaders that are like that, that, you know, will portray themselves as something good or something useful, or I'm gonna be good, or listen to my words and I say all the right things. But you know, we heard the expression, wolf in sheep's clothing. That's a lack of character, or an evil character, a tyrannical character, like Plato would say in the Republic, a leader that hurts his people, that enslaves his people, that starves his people, that punishes his people. That's a tyrannical character. So the character of the administrator, the character of the leader is very important. And you know, and look, it's we're look, we live in an age where we're used to now seeing people from different parts of the world with different religions, coming from all over the world, from different experiences in life, suffering different things in different regions of the world. We've all seen the different disciplines, the different abilities, and with technology we can see across the world, so we could see what people are capable of. We have religions of the world: Buddhism, Christianity, Islam. We have the Jewish traditions. We have the Far East traditions, and hundreds in between. All of those religions, all of those methods, all of those ideals, they all seem to want to reach to something higher, a higher quality of man, a higher standard of being. You know, they call it God, or they call it different names, but everything is reaching to something bigger and greater. So when we think of discipline in the humanities, right, the people, how we behave with each other, the religions of the world help guide people, help shape and form people into a standard behavior, a common acceptable standard of behavior that is formulated around the good, being good, doing good, hoping for the good in the future, in ourselves, for ourselves. So those disciplines from the religions of the world help guide people in a proper manner. So when we think of leaders, I think it is safe to say that people who have decided to lead their lives in a certain manner with certain ideals or certain principles, and they've done it for years, and these principles have been around for ages. And you know, I think it's safe for us to say that, hey, I think I could trust somebody like that, because they're well versed in the word, let's say, and their behavior also shows it. That's the thing about is when we have when we accept, like, say in our heart that we want to be good, that we want to do good, and we start actually doing the things, right? Doing doing the things that we need to do to um, to accustom ourselves, right? Doing good over and over, daily, day after day, day after day. And when we mess up, returning to the same thing. Okay, I messed up. Let me do it. Let me do good again and again and again. Over time, those things become more frequent, and they're like habits, but we develop good habits, and the more repetitious that we are with these good habits, the easier it is to do, and the stronger our character. It's building our character when we do that, because at first it is hard to, especially when we think, when we come from a world that's totally different, when we come from a society or a mind frame or a certain way of thinking that's totally different than all of this good. It's hard to, it kind of almost hurts to switch from the bad to the good. It's almost like painful because of the so many years of being used to doing bad. So when the time comes to change over to the good, at first it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard. And sometimes it's like you want to quit, like, man, I don't care about this. I don't care. Why should I be good? Nobody ever. It's sticking it through long term. This stuff doesn't, it doesn't happen quickly. It takes time. It takes work. But it takes a willingness also. Like, I want to be good. I want to do good. I want to learn. I want to reach this, the top of that hill. What is the top of that hill? It could be business. It can be, societal things. It could be projects. It can be all kinds of things. But knowing that where that destination is and what you need to do to get there, that's what a leader is. That's what a leader needs those traits, needs those things to help, especially if you're taking people with you. They need to know that you know what you're doing. They need to trust that you know exactly what you're doing, that you will not be fearful, that you will not be cowardly, scared, that you will protect them along the way on that journey, because it could be a dangerous journey. It could be a dangerous destination. Getting there can be very dangerous. And those that you are leading, those that you are taking with you along this destination to that place over there, where you know where you're going, where you've decided that's where we're going, they need to feel safe. They need to trust in you, the leader, you who's taking them. We have in the Western world, we have democracy, we have elections you have elections in your nation, in your states, in your cities, in your counties. There's always elections happening. Some are for local leaders, some are for regional leaders, and some are for, leaders of the nations. What makes a good leader? We went over some things. When usually when elections come around, there's always a gaggle of people who come out of the woodwork and try to convince you that they are the one that you should give the authority to rule over you. And they'll show you how smart they are, and they'll show you how brave they are. They'll tell you things that they think that you want to hear. But it's up to us, as the ones who will put these people in power. Let's say it's up to you and your city, it's up to you and your nation to know a little bit more, to be awakened in a certain way, to have some sort of, to have a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of knowledge, knowing what to look for, knowing what is good for for not only me and not only me and my family, but for my neighborhood, for my city, for my nation, for my state. Because we in the democracies, we are the ones that are putting these folks, these people, we are giving them authority over us. And it's the same across every election across the world. When it's time for elections, you, the voter, are the smartest person out there. You're the smartest person out there when it's election time. You know everything because you're the smartest guy out there, and you're so smart, you're going to pick the right person. But as soon as the right person becomes, given that power, when they're sworn in, all of a sudden, you're not smart anymore. You don't know nothing anymore. Now you're dumb. Now you need you need to sit down and shut your mouth now. Now you need to let me rule. You picked me. I know what's right. Y'all don't know what's right. I'm the leader. Didn't y'all forget? Y'all chose me. So after the elections, you're not smart anymore. If we are lost in our own world, if we are lost in our own thoughts, if we're not awake in our own lives, if we don't have virtue and courage, if we don't do these things that we are called to do in life, if we're not strong, if we don't seek wisdom, if we don't seek knowledge, then we will not be able to see the characters, those the falseness of the characters that are in front of us telling us they want to lead us. We will not be able to see their lies or their falsehoods because I'm too busy worrying about whatever's going on out there compared to what I should be really worried about. If I had ethics, if I was ethical, and if I had virtue and courage and all these things, discipline, I'd want to know what's going on. I'd want to know the truth, and I would want to be active in this thing that we call democracy, this thing that we call our republic, our nation, our voting, our governance, above a governance of ourselves. We need to know some things too, or else we will be used, we will be abused, we will be lied to, we will be maneuvered by these folks who have characters that are they lack character, they lack discipline, they lack virtue, and we're gonna give them the keys to drive the car that you're riding in on the back. Beware of the ones, beware of those with loud voices and sweet words that sound good. They will lead and guide us, some of them in the right direction, some of them in the wrong direction, but we need to have discernment ourselves in order to protect ourselves. We need to have discernment to protect ourselves from those people out there, those philosophers, those public speakers, those people who want to be our leaders. Some of them are gonna be liars, some of them are gonna be cheaters, and they're gonna lie to us, and they're gonna portray themselves in a way that's false. But it's up to us to be able to see through that. So we have to start with a lot of work. For our own protection, we have to do a lot of work that starts in here. That starts in here, in our brain, in our mind, in our thought process. We need good leaders. We all need good leaders in society, at home, at church, in business, in our local governance, in our national governance. We need good leaders, and good leaders have experience. Good leaders have dirt under their nails. Good leaders have battle wounds, have been in the trenches. Good leaders like George Washington, like Napoleon, like Alexander the Great, fought with their men in the front lines. That is what made them who they are. That is what made them great. They didn't cower in the back. They said, this is the way forward. You will see, you should be able to see who the true leaders are. But you need to be awakened for your own good, for our own good. We need to be awakened. We need to be able to discern the words that are spoken to us from these people who want to lead us, from these men and from these women who want to be our governors, who want to be our mayors, who want to be our presidents or parliament or whatever. We need to listen to their words, and we need to be able to discern, yes, I want to follow this man because I trust in what he says. I trust in his values. I trust in what they do. I trust them with my life. I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to see that. We need to be able to see that, because if we don't, and if we can't, they will lead us down a dark path. And those paths usually lead to darkness and suffering, destruction. But it all comes back down to us and our ability to discern. Leadership is very, very important. That's it. That's it. Whew. All right, folks. That's it. That's it. We're gonna leave it right there. Oh, Jesus Christ. I love it. I love it. All right, folks. Well, I I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Forgive me. I just as you know, when the spigot gets turned off, there's like a lot of so it's okay. All right. I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Folks, like, I've been studying all day, and I really felt like it was I needed to do this today, or else we would have had to wait a whole extra week, and I didn't want to do that. So that's why we jumped in. I studied all day. I had 3 pages of notes. So we did go off of the notes today, which we usually don't, but just a little bit. You saw me looking down just a little bit, but it's okay. I hope you enjoyed our what we talked about today. And if you did, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, share, let everybody know that you found this new awesome show. As that our numbers are growing, so I really truly appreciate you guys. I really do. I just pretty amazing seeing these numbers. So I want to tell you guys that I love you. What else? That's it. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends. Check back on us soon, because we do not put out content every day for all of our new listeners. What else? That's it, man. Elections come and go in your nation. They will come, they will pass, they will happen. And it is going to be up to you and in what you do, and you and your people around you, your neighbors, your city, your people. It's going to be up to y'all to put the right people in positions of power, to lead your nation, to lead your state, to lead your city in the proper direction. All right. All right, guys, I love you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Anything else? No, that's it. I love you. I will talk to you soon. Peace out, folks. This is Thesis.